Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Monday series. I am back from my trip. It was interesting. I do always love being in Santa Fe, New Mexico, though. And now I'm at home, and as promised, I have basically pre recorded this episode. So now it's just me sitting at my desk in my cabin recording this. And I have already, just like an hour ago, played through Minecraft. Uh, Basically, in an effort to just sort my inventory and stock up on some materials. Now that I have this amazing inventory room. Oh, someone said to get rid of those blocks. They said to make diorite there, but I kind of think I just want to leave it blank. Um, Anyway, now that I have this incredible inventory room, a couple people said I should glass off the ceiling for the Phantom, so I might do that. But I just want it stocked, you know? Like I too often I run out of, it seems like I use light gray dye the most. And I'm always running out of it. I have no wool. I've never really had wool. I don't want to have a sheep farm. But I don't have wool and sometimes even wood. Like I have no spruce. I have no, I didn't really have a lot of acacia. Like I just want to have everything stocked up, sand, gravel. Um, and so I thought I would spend an hour. I died. I don't remember if I died. I think I died in the last episode. So unfortunately, I need to also basically do this again with mining, because I need. Oh, hi, Molly. What's going on? Hi, I'm right here. She just woke up from her nap and she's having her. Well, it's a brunch, isn't it, Molly? Um, it's a brunch. Yes, we had kind of a weird night. She had maybe a little cough, which is the first, thing that's maybe been an indication of her illness. Um, I think I think she's had this one other time, and then it kind of cleared up. But it's not a fun time. Hey, oh, you want to take a drink? That's what's happening right now. You ate your brunch, and now you want to take a drink, but you don't want to take a drink. Why don't I go help Molly drink and pour myself a glass of chocolate milk? Because I have some potato flake chocolate milk. And actually, I think those who know will know. Hi! I'm gonna go pour myself a glass and get Molly to drink. Hold on. Well, you guys are just gonna get this quality content. Okay. Hi. Hi, precious. All right. So you wanna take a drink? Come here. Good job. Look at this. Look at this right there. Take a drink. Take a drink. No? Okay. All right. You don't have to. No one puts Molly in the corner. All right. I also meant to apologize. I've got um actually I'm not sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry at all. No, I've got the dishwasher going and I also have the laundry going. Hopefully there's no background noise. Pip likes to I have a basket above my dryer and he likes to crawl in there, and I put like a bed in the basket, and so he likes to take a nap. Molly, no, you can't scoot on the ground when you just need to take a drink of water. Okay, hold on. I will be right back. Molly, look at you. Come here. Come on. No, this way. This way. This way. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. Okay. This should be interesting. Maybe not the right time to record the audio, but what was I saying? Oh, so I don't shut the bathroom door, because I want Pip to be able to come out if he wants to. Okay, pouring the milk. I don't know if you heard that. But how wonderful. How wonderful. Anyway, I was saying I need to do this with mining to replenish diamonds. I need to do this with levels just to repair my armor and my tools, but I also need diamonds for that. But I need fortune, really, before I go on a big diamond mining thing. So I have no idea. But I have a few questions. I don't know if I have an hour's worth, but okay. Let's see here. Sofinator 2750. Hi, Stacy. 2 questions for the Q&A. What's your favorite period of history to learn about? And 2, who are the 3 people or groups of people, i.e. bands, you've been the biggest fan of in your life? So glad to hear Molly's doing okay. It's funny, like, I appreciate everyone being like, oh, good, Molly's okay. But, like, really, it's like, oh, good, Molly's alive. When I take a break from posting videos. She's doing as good as can be. My favorite period of history to learn about. I don't... Is it a dumb answer to just say current history? I think it's so interesting the amount of information that we have accessible to us now. It is so different from when I grew up. I was actually a little bit optimistic about AI the other day because of this. Because in general, I'm not optimistic at all. I'm quite pessimistic and like, oh no. But I was like, if there ever becomes a way for people to really learn historical facts quickly, and this is when I don't know if I'm synced with the audio right now, but I almost died to lol. And it was really funny. Anyway, if there ever becomes a tool where people can really like quickly have a trusted source, like right now I think the closest thing we have to that maybe is like Wikipedia, where you're like, okay, this is a fact. This has been, I think it's peer reviewed, right? Then that would actually make me optimistic about maybe things that can happen in the future. Because I've always said, like, I wish people would just live longer, right? Like, my grandfather lived to 100, but even he was too young for the Spanish flu epidemic. And so, you see these pictures of people who are wearing masks in, like, 1918, and it's like, wow, this has happened before, and it's happening again, but all the people that are on the planet now, it's brand new for them. Like, there's such a churn in terms of, humans and thought processes, right? Like, what am I trying to say? Like, it's really interesting to me, like, animals have been on the earth forever, right? And they do what they do, and they pass down what they should do in their, in their genetic makeup. And so, like, a grizzly bear is going to do what a grizzly bear did a couple hundred years ago today. And their behavior might change based on humans and, like, the things that humans have done. But for the most part, they're not going to, like, mess up being a grizzly bear. But I feel like we're messing up being humans, right? And I think it's partly because we can't access that ancestral knowledge to understand certain truths about the way that the world works. So it's like, yeah, wow, there was a a pandemic prior to this, and people wore masks to stop the spread. And I think I saw like an old photo of someone who had like a mask on their cat even at one point. I don't know if it was, real or not. But it's just interesting that no one that really went through the pandemic this year had any memories of that, because my grandfather, when the pandemic happened, was 100. And he didn't even have any memories of that, because it was like 2 years prior to when he was born. So anyway, what I was saying is that when I was a kid, you really had an encyclopedia, like an actual row of books in the library that had a little paragraph about anything you could think of. Think of a giraffe, think of a war, think of a person. And then that got put on CD-ROM, which was very exciting. But now it's just like the information is so readily available, and yet now it's almost like we're going to mess up and take the information away. But I'm interested in learning about, I guess it's not necessarily history right now, but like, for example, I have no idea Mexico's history. I have no idea like Chile's history. I don't have any idea of Greenland's history or Iceland's history, because I went through, you can only learn so much in school. And then of course, you were taught kind of the big things and the most sort of like meaningful to current events kind of things. So yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely am interested. I don't know. I'm always interested in learning more about animals and plants and geology. If I ever went back to school, it would be for a geology degree, just because I want to be able to look at a rock and go, yeah, I think I know what that is. And I can do that to a certain degree right now. I can, like, I'm good enough that I can pick up a rock and go like, this is interesting. But it's very difficult for me to actually go like, yes, this is, I don't know. I was going to say mica, but like, that's like the one rock I think I can be like, yes, this is mica. Anyway, that didn't really answer your question probably about period of history. I'll tell you what period of history I hate. I hate learning about anything like Middle Ages, or like French Revolution, or like any time period that even early American history was so barbaric, that it really upsets me, honestly, to learn about how I can't watch movies or TV shows that are set in those time periods. It's just upsetting to me how uncivilized things were, that we just, you could just, go to dinner and then die. It just makes me sad. Three bands. I feel like I'm not thinking of one from like early years of my life. But certainly I got really into a band called Keane when I was in college. It's Keane. And I think I'm into bands when I'm like, these first two bands that I'm going to name, it's like I just had the good fortune of coming in on like their first albums. And so their first album, I think, was it called Somewhere Only We Know, I think, was the name of the album. And there was a song. That album just really, it takes me back to a period. I love Jimmy Eat World too, though. But no, I would say Keane was really my favorite. And I've seen both of them in concert. I've seen Keane in concert many, many times. I don't know. I haven't kept up with them lately, but they had a good string of like 3 or 4 albums there that I just like listened to over and over and over. And so I really can like go back and listen to them and remember, my college years and the years after. The Killers was another band. I'm one of those annoying people that was like, yeah, but I was there at the beginning. I think I've already told the story, but I really was. I got influenced. I was in a Target, and I definitely have told this story. The music video for Somebody Told Me was on the TV, and I must have just had disposable income at the time, right? That good old thing that, we need to raise the minimum wage for people to actually experience again, which was that I worked at a country club. And at the time, even now, and this was like what? It had to have been like 2003 or 2004. Whenever their album came out. But I was making like $12 an hour plus tips. It was a great job. And it was in the summer. And I was working full-time, 40 hours a week. But then I was also picking up overtime shifts. And so those first couple paychecks were like mind-blowing to me because I was living at my dad's house, because I was still in college, and I had purchased a car, but in those, I feel so old to go like in those days of 2004, but it is true. You could go purchase a used car for like $2,500, and it wasn't a bad car. So I had a little white Jeep, a little 1990 white Jeep Wrangler that I learned stick shift on, and it was a soft top, so I drove around with the top down. Oh, I remember one time I left the top down when I was at work, and it rained, and there was like 4 inches of water in my car, but it was fine. And yeah, so I had disposable income. That's all I was trying to say. And so at Target, I was like, yeah, I'll buy a CD. Why don't I buy a CD? I can put it in the Jeep and, listen to it on my way to work. And so I took a total chance on the Killers, which I probably wouldn't have done like if I was, in my college years now. I probably wouldn't just, you have Spotify now, right? But at the time, to just go like, I'm going to spend whatever, $10 on this CD. I don't know if it's good or not. And I went home and I put it in my big boom box in my bedroom. And I listened, I think it was number 3. I think I listened to the first track, the second track, and then the third track was Mr. Brightside. And this wasn't a single yet. And so I just was like, oh, stop. I'm hitting repeat on this song. And then that just became like my anthem. And then of course now it's everyone's anthem, which is great. But that's a band that I've listened to for many, many years. I love all their albums. I love Brandon Flowers' solo albums. I love Pressure Machine. The album quite literally is sort of set in Utah in a lot of the places that I've been to. But I also oddly, not oddly, I think it's great, but no one ever says this, I don't think, is I loved Battleborn. That was like a period of my life when I lived in Los Angeles that I listened to that CD all the time, and I just think that's a great album. And then I would say that the other one was Mitski. And I didn't discover Mitski early on. I guess I was introduced to Mitski before maybe enough that I could go to a concert. I went to a concert where she was opening for Death Cab for Cutie. And I literally, I like Death Cab for Cutie, but I literally left after Mitski opened. I did that with, I went to a Kelly Clarkson concert with my dad once. And I wanted to go because Rooney was opening. And I loved the band Rooney. And I went, and Rooney was great. And then I ran out after they played and found them in the, they were kind of at the, just outside of the venue, signing. And I had them sign my hat. Jimmy Eat World also signed this hat. And I had them sign my hat. And then I went back to find my dad and was like, okay, let's go. And he was like, what? No, I want to stay for Kelly Clarkson, which was amazing. Kelly Clarkson was great, But I was definitely there for Rooney, and that's what I did for Mitski. I didn't even stay for Death Cab, which was really silly because it was at Red Rocks. Um, but it was pretty incredible because I was like in the third row. Like now you can't get a Mitski ticket now. Um, but I know people who obviously were clued into her discography like way before I was. But I'm a pretty big fan of a lot of her albums too. Those are my three. Wow, I took so long to answer that one question. Um, Alfred Jerome 9979, Stacy, I love you. Simple question. What's your personal biggest accomplishment you've reached in your life that changed or influenced your career? Huh. Um, I think I would say getting my first book published, is I think the accomplishment I would point to because I think it was a culmination of doing YouTube and having a following and then being able to um I guess parlay that into getting a book deal. Like I look back now and it's like, oh, getting a book deal is actually hard. It's really hard. And I did it 6 times. So I think that I would say that was a big deal and just felt super, super exciting to be able to work with like an illustrator. And, I was really lucky in the sense that I got to really say, this is the book and this is what the cover should look like and this is what it should be called. And it was, it was really exciting. So I would say that one. Camille Little Moments. Hi, Stacy. I'm glad Molly is still okay. Some Q&A. Are you a Harry Potter fan? If so, what's your Hogwarts house? Mine is Slytherin. What is your favorite Gravity Falls character? Mine is Bill Cipher. Have you played Endling Extinction is Forever or Spirit of the North? They are awesome Fox games. Have you read the new Hunger Game book? Oh my goodness. I'm going to go back to front. I've not read the new Hunger Game book. I didn't also read the previous new Hunger Games book. That was really a chapter of my life that I kind of was like, okay, well, I'm done with that. Like and I think it's probably because I made, originally I mean, I wasn't like a Twilight fan, but I had read the books and then I read the Hunger Games books and was a fan. But then it sort of morphed into my job. I had a job working as a website producer, and so then I would get opportunities to go to movie junkets and interview the actors, or I would be, given opportunities to, oh, we're going to do this panel here in Los Angeles, but if you want to be the live stream partner, you can live stream it on your website. I remember I did that once with the cast of Twilight. Or go to the red carpet of, the Hunger Games movie premiere. Or go see these movies early. And so I guess I kind of burned out on it. I was sort of like, because I think there's been a new Twilight book even, maybe. I just no, I haven't read it. I wonder if it's good. But no plans. What's interesting about Endling Extinction and Spirit of the North is that I used to take it so seriously. I had like a spreadsheet where I would keep track of these games that were in development and what day they were going to be released on, and if there was a demo. And sometimes the game maker would even contact me and say, hey, do you want to have access to it early? We can give you a code and then you can play it so that you have the video ready to put up on release day. I think I did that with a game. Or maybe I didn't even get a code. Sometimes I would literally stay up until midnight until the game released or something, and then start playing it and finish the game at like 4 a.m. and hit export and then go to sleep and wake up at 7 and upload it and do a thumbnail. like I took it so seriously. It was my job. And Endling was definitely a game that I had on my list for like a year. And by the time it came out, I just wasn't in that space anymore. It was like, I YouTube is not rewarding me anymore for doing all of this, and I've played so many of these games, and sometimes I'm good at them and sometimes I'm bad at the games. And it seems like most people just want me to play Minecraft anyway, and so and then another thing happened where I think a lot of people, maybe this is shady to say, but something happened with like, I don't know, the Unreal Engine or something, where these people started making these universal assets that were available to any game developer for like, I mean, Fox was one that was just like, so many games with foxes, or so many games with little wisps, or so many games with wolves. And these sort of like, is it called voxel characters? I'm not sure. That might have just not been the right word to say. But they all started to kind of look the same to me. And so that kind of made me lose interest a little bit. But those two games looked really good. They were definitely both on my list. And it's always funny to me when I get a comment of like, have you ever heard of this? It's like, I was obsessed with like tracking it like years before it was released. So yes, I have. And I don't know. I wonder if I'll get to a point in the future. I think I will. I think they're making another game of Never Alone. I think I recorded and never posted the DLC for that, Foxtails, which is just silly of me. But I think I'll get to a point where I play very specific games still. Favorite Gravity Falls character. I'm really not up on the lore as most people are. I think I watched every episode, but I just watched it very casual. I was just a casual fan, and I loved Mabel, obviously. And am I a Harry Potter fan? Okay. Yes, but like to the people who might instantly like be like, I gotta turn this off, stick with me. Of course, I started reading Harry Potter before all the books had been released, so I think I started reading 3 before the spring before. I remember when 4 came out, it was during the summer, and it was such a big deal. And then of course I went to all the midnight release parties of all, 5, 6, 7, 8. Went to the movie for 1, went to all the movies. I was a big fan. I think I'm a Gryffindor. I always wanted to be a Ravenclaw, but I'm a Gryffindor. And I'm just so disappointed now. And I know that it's not, I know that this is a complicated topic of art and artists, but I'm really, really, I'm just really bummed out by J.K. Rowling. I think that it's never okay to help a group by tearing down another group. And I think that I'm just tired of people villainizing people who are trans. It's just really disappointing to me that someone could have so much success and so much money and not be able to channel that for good, but to think, well, if I hate on something, that'll be a good outcome. And it's like, no, I don't think that's, and it would be one thing if there was any kind of proof that a specific group was causing harm, but it's made up. It's not real. It's not real in my opinion. That people are being harmed by people being trans. It's not hurting you. You just don't like it. And that's what we should be calling out. Anyway. Blue Skies 2. I'm so happy you uploaded this episode. I was honestly a little worried about Molly last week. I'm glad she's doing the best she can, and I hope you're doing okay too. I have a question for the Q&A. Your recent pets have all had names starting with letters M or P. Do you think you'll stick to that trend for future ones? I do think it's fun when people have themed names for their pets. Or since you rescue, would you just keep their given name? I know every pet is situational, but I thought it'd be a fun question. Yeah, it was never intentional for it to be a theme of M or P. Like, it was something I think I realized, like, way after the fact and was like, that's weird. That's weird that I had Paige and Molly and then Pipsqueak and Milquetoast. It was completely serendipitous because Paige's name just was Paige. And I would have changed it, I think, if it was Paige. And I think I've talked about that before. No offense to the Pages of the world that is spelled like that. I just have never necessarily been someone who named their pets people names, which I know I did with Molly. So give me a second here to think of an excuse. But, you know, I always go back. I had this boss and I love her dearly. She was such a wonderful, wonderful influence in my life and still is. But she had this collie named Sarah, and I couldn't get over it. I was like, that's so random to me. I get, like, when people, like, I had a friend who had a little French bulldog, named, like, Walter, and it, there's a funniness maybe to an old person name of a dog, you know, but Sarah is just a name that I grew up with in the 80s and 90s, knowing, like sometimes there'd be like 3 Sarahs in my class, you know? And so Sarah was just like, what? Your dog is just Sarah? But the fact that it was spelled Page, whether that was a typo or not, I think it was a typo. I just thought, oh, it's like pages of a book. That's so cute. I'll keep her name Paige. And then Molly's name was Diva. And I went back and forth. I know why I chose Molly, though. Actually, now I remember, is that my dad had already had Polly, and Polly came from the shelter with her name as Polly, and it just suited her. It was cute. She might have even responded to it, and so it was like, yeah, great, Paige and Polly, and that was like the dynamic duo. And then I was moving away, and I was really sad about it because my dad was keeping Polly. And I was like, I'm going to go find my own little tricolor dog. And I found Molly. And, of course, she needed heartworm treatment. And it was a big expense. And she almost died. Molly, you almost died in 2011. Don't die now. Hi, I'm right here. Good job. So I think that, yeah, Molly's name was Diva. I was obviously opposed to Diva, come here, Diva. Molly, like, trots over right now. She's like, I haven't heard that name in years. And I thought that her ears were just so adorable. They reminded me of pigtails, and that reminded me of the American Girl Molly. And it was like Molly and Polly, how cute. But I thought, I'm moving away. Like, Molly's never going to be in the same room with Polly. So it's just kind of a cute little, like, secret nod, not knowing that then it would be like, I'd eventually, like, have Polly a lot more in my life. And then it'd just be, like, annoying to be like, Molly, Polly, Molly, Polly. But yeah, that was, so I ended up with 2 dogs with people names. I almost named Molly Scout, but then I just thought that was kind of like generic too. Although I think she would have been a cute Scout, and I almost named her Olive. I don't know why. And then, yeah, Milquetoast was obviously like named after the cat in Minecraft, and I never planned on owning a cat. And so I think when I named the cat Milquetoast in Minecraft, like, I had 3 cats, right? In Dogcraft, I had Stampy, named after my friend Stampy because he was an orange cat. Then the black cat, Dog the cat, I just thought was funny. It was like to me, that was just a joke that I wanted to do in the series because it's Dogcraft, and here I'm adopting a cat, but I don't really like cats, and so I was like, it'd be fun to name this cat Dog the cat. So that was kind of like, I was only going to have, Dogcraft only had 3 varieties of cat: orange, black, and white. And so it was like, okay, great. Stampy, that works. Dog, that works. And then the white cat, I was like, I'm just going to name it what I would actually name a cat, which was Milquetoast, because that was just a word that I knew. And it felt very much to me like, cats in Minecraft are scared of you, or ocelots are scared of you. I'm pouring more chocolate milk. And so to me, it just was perfect. And I love milk. Not that it's spelled that way, but it was just great. And so when I found the cat, it was like, of course I decided to name him after the Minecraft cat, but it was more than that. It was like, that is what I would name a cat. Like that. And I know it's weird, but like, that was what I would name it. And so it worked out perfectly. So I don't regret that name at all, but I didn't even think about the fact that it started with an M. And then Pipsqueak's name, he was at a shelter and he was really sick and small, and his name was Mickey. And I almost kept it because I just was like, I don't think cats, like, he didn't know it, I don't think, but I just thought, well, Mickey's cute, but I don't know. I love Disney, but I'm not like a huge Mickey Mouse fan. Like, I love Donald, I love Chip and Dale. I actually think that Milquetoast and Pipsqueak, their personalities actually are quite like Chip and Dale. Like Pip is very goofy like Dale and has like the broader nose and like just kind of reminds me of Dale, and Milquetoast reminds me of Chip, where he's like, Milquetoast is kind of has a mean side, right? And Pip is just very like happy-go-lucky, and like usually like Pip can overpower Milquetoast and like rough him up because he's just weighs more. But Milquetoast can be mean, like not in a vicious cat way, but just in like an older brother, like I know more. So I have them trained to go to the stairs when I feed them, and that's like where they get served their food. And so Milquetoast will come into the kitchen and start just like hitting Pipsqueak, like just smacking him in the face, like, go to the stair, what are you doing, come on, go to the stair. And Pip just kind of takes it and is just kind of like ugh, this annoying, but it just reminds me of Chip and Dale. But I was like, Mickey is Mickey Mouse. I don't know if I want to name a cat Milquetoast and Mickey. I don't know. And then it just kind of was like, oh my gosh, I have a mouse. I was big on like, obviously I used to take name inspiration from Disney in Dogcraft, like Pongo and Perdita or Oliver or what have you. And then I was big at the time and like, no, I should have my own ideas, like Milquetoast. Like, it's always great when I have my own ideas. And so I thought, well, I don't want to name my cat after Mickey Mouse. Not that I know for a fact he was named after that, but who are the Mickey Rooney, No one's going to get that. And so then I thought, well, I have a mouse and his name is Pipsqueak. And I remember the moment really clearly. Like, I remember I was with my mom and I was like, should I name him Pipsqueak? And she was like, yes. And because he was so tiny, right? I didn't have any idea that he was going to grow into, obviously I knew he was going to grow, but I didn't know he was going to grow into this mammoth of a cat. And that actually kind of just made it all the more funny that I had named him Pipsqueak, and that he doesn't really, Milquetoast can meow so much louder than him. He does this little like, so, and he really does know his name now. You can go like, Pippy, and he'll come to you. So that's cute. But again, then it didn't even occur to me. I was like, oh, M and P. Never thought of it. So I don't think I will continue that theme if I have pets in the future. And I also don't know that I will have pets in the future for a long time. I mean, I'll have my cats for a long time. Um, was that all the questions? Yes. No, I mean, it wasn't, but that was all the questions for that question. Spotted Leaf 44. Stacy, enjoy your week off. I have a question for the possible Q&A episode. How did you start your channel? I mean, I know you started by playing Hungercraft with Joey, but what motivated you to start it and continue it to the point it is at today? Also, I love your videos. I've been watching for 5 years. Great question. I've definitely told this story before, but the brief retelling is that yes, I started the channel because I was playing Hungercraft with Joey, and I needed a channel just to be able to comment to people, because I there were probably things I just wanted to correct. If someone was like, you know, Stacy's so bad, I can't believe she lost that game or something. I don't know. I probably just wanted to, like, you know, be sarcastic back to someone or something. I don't know. I needed a channel to be able to comment, so I made a channel. But I think my name was like, you know, something with long numbers or something. And then I made it just Stacyplays, I think, because I was just like, well, I can't just name it Stacy, and I'm not going to, you know, make it my name. I should have, what if I had made it Stacy Dies? Because, like, Stacy always dies. That would have been, I would have loved that in hindsight. I would have loved it, because my whole catchphrase was I died in Minecraft, and I always died in Hungercraft. Even if someone was, like, gifting me every diamond possible, and I had diamond swords at deathmatch, I still always died. Stacy always died. So Stacy Always Dies or something. Like, that would have been a great name. But I just called it Stacyplays just so I could comment back. And then I started uploading because things would happen where maybe you could only see something funny that happened that Joey and I are laughing about from my perspective. Like, maybe we separated while we were playing. And then maybe I had the, like, so like if Joey died, for example, maybe he would spectate me, and that would be in his recording. But I feel like there were other situations where something was in my perspective. Or maybe it was just even funnier in my perspective. Like, maybe I had died and I was spectating Joey, and so I have this perspective where I'm seeing the player sneak up on him, and then, but you don't see that in his perspective. But if you watched my perspective, it was like a little bit funnier, maybe. Stuff like that, where I thought, oh, maybe I should just throw these up on my channel in case people want to watch. And I had no idea that like 30,000 people would want to watch it. It was like, it was shocking to me. Like, I just was kind of doing it under the impression that there might be, like, you know, 100 people that are like, oh, that'll be interesting to, like, you're basically watching the same video a second time. But the videos that I would get would put up get like 20,000 views, 30,000 views. And it was shocking. And then people were being so lovely to me. And I think about this all the time, right? Because I think that I've developed a relationship with the people that still watch my videos where I think it's one of deep respect. Like, I respect you as a person. You're not just like a fan, right? And you respect me as a person. And so, like, if I don't upload, it's like you respect me. You're like, oh, Stacy's a human. Something must have happened. I hope everything's okay. I'll watch next week. But in those early days, there was more of a accountability in a way where people expected me to do something. And in a way, that felt like, well, that can be a little toxic of, Molly, are you scooting again instead of drinking? You're just a little scooter. I'm going to have to rename you Scooter. You're the funniest dog. You are scooting and you're like, look at me, I'm scooting. And it's just because you want to take a drink of water. I'm not going to let you scoot this long. I don't want you to hurt your little bottom. Go take a drink of water. Oh, now she stopped. Hi, come here. Come here. Come here. No. No. She's so funny when she does it. She's just doing it for, like, it's just pure performance. The diva is performing. Molly, come here. Go take a drink. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good job. Come on. Come on. Come on. Take a drink. Take a drink. Take a drink. Oh, take a drink. You got this. You got it. You can do it. Oh, what is that? Did I spill chocolate milk? You got it. Yes. 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 Oh, you failed. Come on, try again. Come on. You got it. You got it. You got it. Come on. Come on. Yes. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Oh, she's the best. Oh, she's the best little puppy. Okay. You know, it's so funny. I mentioned The Walking Dead a couple of episodes ago, and I started watching it again because it was just on TV, like on a marathon. And I just had this moment where I was like, I remember doing this with Molly and Paige in my apartment in Los Angeles in 2014. And here I am in 2025, and this dog is still with me and is just like, hey, I don't like zombie shows. And I'm like, it's okay, Molly. Anyway, so like, in a way, it's an unhealthy situation to have people sort of like demanding things of you. But in another way, it's nice to feel wanted and that you have a purpose. Sometimes I almost think about saying that sometimes, where I'm like, I wish people were harder on me for not uploading or for not Dogcraft. Don't that really hurts my feelings when people are just like, more Dogcraft. It's like, oh, my dog is dying. Like, give me a break. But like the vlog channel, like, it's like people are just, you know, everyone's so polite to me now. They're just like, whenever feels good for you, Stacy. I think that's maybe also a generational thing where people are just so in tune now with like, only if you're comfortable. And it's like, no, I am not your generation. I need you to go, where's the vlog? Huh? Because I need that kind of feeling of like mattering, I think. I think we all do, right? I think we all need that in whatever job we have or whatever family structure we have. I think we all want to feel like our presence makes a difference. And I think that that's what kept me going on the channel for so long, is that it was very obvious at that time of like, oh, I'm making people happy by doing this thing. And I also now am able to pay my bills, and I'm able to help out my family members and have a flexible schedule, and I'm not going to get fired. And I don't have to go to work at, 8 a.m. and answer this, email from my boss who's angry on Sunday at noon. I had a boss once who called me from France, and like, I wasn't his assistant even. I was not in that kind of a role, but he was like, look on Google Maps, like, I'm on the Rue de blah blah blah, and like, I have to tell the driver like where to turn. And I was like, what? This is, huh? And he's like mad at me, like, look at my location. Where should I, left or right? And I'm like, sir, where in France are you? Just silly. So obviously YouTube was a lovely departure of like, I can just play Minecraft. Okay, I'll do that. Okay. Rio Jung. What do you think about the new Ghast update coming? Also, I think you should look into it because you can take all of your wolves when traveling onto the Ghast. Have two Ghasts and lead one while being on the... That sounds very complicated. But I will do it also over the ocean because if my dog falls, it would just... I almost just had a moment where I was like, no, if you fall into the ocean from a certain height, you'll die. And it was like, no, it's not Minecraft. The Ghast update. I think I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about this, but I shared this opinion with someone the other day and they were like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, oh, really? Is that I haven't seen the Minecraft movie. That's today. I'm actually supposed to be in London today watching the Minecraft movie, but I said no because of Molly. But so I don't really know that I have plans to see it, but I know that the Ghasts are in the movie and that the piglins are riding them. And so to me, this update sort of felt like a retcon where there's something that's going to be in the movie, and so they're like, let's add it to the game. Now, I could be completely wrong about that, but that's how it felt to me. But I think it's interesting. Like, I'm kind of... And I love that they did something with fossils in the Nether, because I'm so into the fossils. I would love that if you recreated the fossils. Like, I'd love to be able to... I would just wish that they would update the world and say what the fossils were. What are the fossil structures that you find? What are those, like, if you take those shapes... Actually, I should not say this because I feel like I wanted to make an add-on of this. Where it's like, what animals used to... You know how they have a giant zombie in the game files that just was never added? And they have a skeleton horse, but like, what are the fossils? So the fact that they even got near that, and you find, I think, the little dried ghasts or something near the fossils, I was like, great, I'll take it. And if you can put a dog on the back of the ghast, I'm gonna do that in this series. That seems like we'll have to do that. I haven't updated this world to the new pig and chicken and cow variants, but I need to. I'm just nervous that I wish that Java spawning would work like Bedrock. I think this is the first time in my life I've been like, oh, Bedrock's better. In the sense that I feel like I am gonna have to now do nether tunnels so that I go enough blocks. I'm very tired of just running around my base to the point where I generate new chunks. I think I'll have to start doing a nether tunnel, which is fine. We should build out the nether portal. Viviana M 13 from Twitch, maybe. That's a Viviana that I know. I didn't even realize that the series is already over a year old. March 10th. So happy to have you back in my life more consistently. I was bummed when you stopped streaming frequently, but I completely understand why. I'm just glad to have your content around, however it may be. You're such an amazing person, and I really admire all that you do. Thank you for existing. Much love. P.S. How's your Animal Crossing island doing? I'm sorry to say that I have not checked in on my Animal Crossing island in a while. I wish I'd put that on YouTube at the time because I think it would have been fun. I love that game. I wish that they had more plans for it. But I haven't played it in a while. I got very into... So with Animal Crossing, obviously, the pandemic started and everyone was playing it. And I caved and was like, I'm buying a Switch. And I bought a little yellow Switch Lite. And I just loved it. I loved it so much. And then it was like, oh, I built a cool... Like, I just have this village now. Or these villagers. And I wish I could stream this. But you can't, I don't think at the time at least, you couldn't stream from a Twitch Lite. And so I had to get a regular Twitch, oh my gosh. I had to get a regular Switch so I could stream on Twitch. And then I had to port my island over to that regular size Switch. Oh my gosh. And it was fun because then I obviously could play on my screen and I could just use the joy things. I didn't have to hold the whole console. But I want it back on the yellow thing. So I'm either going to start over or I need to port my island back over, which is always like a hold your breath kind of a thing. I did the, I stopped playing it for a long time. Then I did the Happy Home Designer Island Designer thing. I loved that. And I think now I'm just to the point where, I'm still playing Minecraft. Like, I get really into this world and I spend a few hours playing on this world. I have been really into just playing Tetris at night on my projector on my PlayStation. And so I play Tetris and I play Minecraft. And I think in the future, if there comes a time where I have a lot of time again and I'm not doing either of those two games, like I'm not playing Minecraft as much or I'm not into Tetris right now, which I feel like is, it's cyclical because then my hands hurt and I need a break. I think I'll get back into Animal Crossing. The thing that I did for myself that I think in the hindsight was genius is that I never built my museum because I just was so obsessed with my little lore of the owl being in the tent and like just needing one more fossil. And I would like put fossil. He needed 5, right, to start the museum. And I just never gave him the 5th one. And I would place fossils like around the tent and then go in and he'd be like, I'm just looking for one more fossil. And it'd be like, oh man, I hope you find it, Blathers. I hope you find it. Anyway, so I never made the museum, and then I never completed, like I never found every single insect or every single fish because some of them were like seasonal and, just depending on when I played, if I was fishing a lot. I just never, I never completed every thing like that in the museum. And so I never did the paintings. Like I never had the little guy come and visit me with his fake paintings. And so looking back now, I think there's even a cafe in the museum now too, right? Like maybe I'm wrong about that, but I've saved something. So I'm excited actually. I think in the future, I don't know if I put it back on my yellow Switch, I won't be able to stream it. But I'm excited in the future that I think I will have like one more moment with that game. And who knows, hopefully they're working on something else because I do love some of those animals. I just love them. Shep. I miss you, Shep. Vanilla Hibiscus 486. Hiya, Stacy. Happy to hear that you and Molly are well. I have one question for the Q&A, and I suppose it's a bit unusual. How would you feel if someone were to get a tattoo inspired after one of your series, like Dogcraft, for example? I've had this idea floating in my head for over a year now. Like a small tattoo of one of the landmarks, the Puppy Pond or Bone Mountain, etc. I'd like to hear your opinion. I hope this isn't too strange. Haha. Also, I'm very excited about the book club. I'm excited about the book club too. I really have to just start it. But I had some ideas the other day that I was like, I might need to completely change like the platform that I was going to put the book club on just to give it its best shot. But now I'm worried about, I'm worried that it will become more of a thing that you could just binge as opposed to like what I loved about Bookcraft was then we would like all get on the server. I'd like message out and invite like 50 people onto the server. And it felt like a real-time meeting. And that's what I like about a book club. But at the same time, I don't know. people expect things to be on podcast platforms or YouTube, or I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure where I want to put it, and if I put it somewhere else, if that'll make it less like in real time and more just kind of like, you know, I don't know. But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, well, that was going to happen anyway. People are going to watch without having read the book, and the people who read the book, it will feel like a club to them. And the people who just watch Bookcraft now, it's not like they enjoy it less because they weren't there for the actual timing of it. It's just a weird, I think things through too much. But then at the same time, like, I think things through, and that usually is beneficial. The tattoo, I would have said the tattoo question was maybe unusual a few years ago, but as I've started to do book tours where more and more my audience has shifted to people who are in their 20s as opposed to younger, well, it's like a bit split down the middle now. I've had this happen before where I think I've signed I think 2 people, I have signed their arm, and they have then gotten that tattooed, which I just have to kind of go into my brain and go, people can do that. That's not my decision. If that's what they want to do, I don't feel unusual about it, other than just like I feel like, oh, I don't consider myself like an artist at all. And so now it's like, oh, this tattoo is like, I feel pressure to do a really good signature. So I actually think this is a really cool idea. I have 2 tattoos that I'm planning to get, hopefully in the future. I'm not traveling anywhere right now with Molly, but there's like 2 things that are sort of in the works. But none of them are Minecraft themed. They're both animal themed, but they're not Minecraft themed. And I don't know that I would ever get a Minecraft themed one, but maybe I would. Like, Bone Mountain is kind of a cool idea because it's sort of like negative spacey, but I don't even know how you would go about that. Or just like a Minecraft bone, like the pixels. Bone is cool, maybe. A bone is interesting. I mean, the puppy pond is interesting too. Like, I think that they're good ideas. I'm in no way condoning it. But if you are going to do that, then that is your right. I think tattoos are so interesting in a way, like how the culture has shifted. Because I have many friends who are heavily tattooed, who are younger than me. It's such an interesting thing, particularly like in the queer community, how it has become something that is like, it's less about the tattoo itself and it's more about the experience of getting it, or who you got it with, or the time in your life that you got it. And it doesn't almost even matter what the design is. Like, that's just contrary to how I grew up, which was like, you have to pick the most meaningful thing to you in your entire life to get tattooed. And now it feels like the culture is very much more about like, well, this is this artist's flash, and like, you might like this or you might not, or you might not even know what you're going to get up until the moment that you get it. And it's all about money too. It's just so fascinating to me. Like, my generation just kind of thinking of like, the placement was very, oh, you can't get a tattoo there, you got to get a tattoo, oh, you're gonna get one there, and what size. And now to see people just completely having no thoughts about that. Like, I mean, maybe they do and they're just not telling me, but it seems very much more of a free approach in terms of placement, size, quantity. Like, it's so more random than it was in kind of like when I was younger. Does any of that make sense? I mean, the people who are like in that community are going to be like nodding and being like, uh-huh, wow, she really gets it. And then everyone else is going to be like, what is Stacy talking about? But yeah, let me know what happens. Okay. I think I have 2 questions left, but one of them is 5 questions. Oh, wait, this isn't even a question. Oak Gilbert just says, my favorite unexpectedly cool texture is probably the bottom of a smithing table. It makes for a really cool ceiling. I love that comment. Thank you so much. I really want to see what the bottom of a smithing table looks like now. I completely believe you. And a smithing table, I believe, is also like a really easy block to obtain. It's not like using, like a diamond block or something. So I love those I want to know more things like that, because I would love to, I feel like I'm stuck in this like terracotta, glass, glazed terracotta, moss carpet situation at the moment, which I'm not mad about, but I would like to start building with more unexpected blocks in a subtle way. I feel like the smithing table would be subtle. Sorry, the dishwasher keeps beeping. Okay, Waste Chase. Hi, Stace. I had a couple random questions for you if you do another Q&A. 1, if Minecraft were to add a new ocean mob, what would you want it to be? I think I would say either a narwhal or an orca. I think I would really enjoy orcas, like in the frozen ocean of Minecraft. Like, I think that you've got dolphins and turtles. Oh, puffins! Puffins! Is that really an ocean mob? I think it is, right? Because puffins, you guys, puffins are so cool. Puffins are like one of the only birds, I think, to build their nests underground. Puffins also, like, they just like fly to like Maine or Canada in the summer or the spring, have their babies because it's like nice weather, and then they're just like, all right guys, we gotta go back to Iceland now. and then just like take their babies on a trip across the Arctic Ocean. Like, I feel like the baby puffins are just like, Maine was nice, but I just think that that's so cool. Like, puffins are just so cool. And so I would say I think that it's totally a Minecraft mob. Like, I could visualize it, right? I could visualize it. Polar bears are already like Arctic, and so puffins, right? Or I guess you could go literal and say, like, what about some kind of seal that the polar bear would then feed on? A seal would be super cute to add to Minecraft. What did I say? Narwhal, orca, puffin, or seal? I'm going to go with puffin just because I want more, like, I feel like it would be fun because it could fly in the air, it could swim in the ocean, it could be on the land, and I think it would look like it belonged in Minecraft. Are puffins at risk here? Are puffins in danger? Do we need to educate the world on puffins? I'm gonna look this up. No, puffins are okay. What animal is doing amazing, right? With everything that, we've got going on. But I'll just say puffin. Although orca would be fantastic because I would love orcas. You know how dolphins swim beside you and give your boat grace, dolphins grace? I would love it if orcas broke your boat. Like, I think that would be a perfect Minecraft update. If orcas existed and they just broke your boat. I'd love it. Okay, question 2. What biome do you think needs an update? Um, huh. Hmm. What biome needs an update? I mean, I would have said desert, but I think that they just did. And I'm really excited to see, like, I think they added something, like little cactuses or something. Um, huh. I mean, I kind of just go by what biomes don't have individual mobs, right? So, like, Savannah was kind of sad because they didn't have anything, but now they have armadillos. Although I wish they would add. Wish they would add some kind of, like. There's no African animal in Minecraft, right? Like, I wish they would add, like, a cheetah or a giraffe or an elephant or a rhino. Rhino, I think, would be my pick. Um, or even, like, a tapir or, um, oh, or, like, they could have added, maybe this is what the pigs are supposed to be, but they could have added, like, javelinas. Um, but I guess I would say, Mesa, right? Because other than the Mesa wolf now, I don't think there's any other mob that is like, I mean, armadillo, I guess, but I want that vulture back, you know? I really wanted that vulture. I don't know what else I would add to a Mesa though. Um did they add like did they ever add those archaeology stations? Like, have I just not found one, or did they? I feel like they rolled it back. I feel like they were like, it's happening, and then maybe rolled it back. But let me know, because if we just haven't found one, that really would bum me out. Um, Number 3, if you didn't have Milktoast and Pip in Dogcraft already when you found them in real life, what would you have named them? Oh, that's interesting, because we had the other question that was similar. If I didn't have, I mean, I think what I said is I would have named Milktoast Milktoast. But if I didn't have Dogcraft and I just gotten Pip, I mean, I wouldn't get cats. But Pippi, I'm trying to think if I call Pippi Milktoast. Hey, Milktoast, no. Oh, he comes after Molly and cleans her plate, and he just has too sensitive of a stomach to be doing that, Milktoast. And he eats so much milk. Milktoast, you eat so much. I feed him 3 times a day. Like pure raw meat, which is probably why he's hungry, right? Because he's not getting like as much of the like carbohydrate loaded food anymore. He's getting like pure protein, which is what a cat wants. Don't come back. You can't just come back. All right, come here. Come here. He does that where you'll like yell at him for something and he's just like, does anyone else's cat does this where it's like he's playing a game with me where he's like, okay, I gotta just run away and act sad for like a second, but then she'll turn around at her computer again and I can just go back and do exactly what I was doing. Like, there's absolutely nothing in his brain that links me yelling to the behavior that he was doing, which is, I'm happy that Milktoast is like a happy boy. Come here. You want to say hi to people? Say hi, say meow. You can't. I'm happy that you're a happy boy, but it's infuriating because it's like he just has no idea why I'm yelling. He's just kind of like, he'll run away and be like, oh, yikes, it's noisy right here, right now. and then he'll just immediately come back and do the same thing again. So it's like, do cat brains just not put 2 and 2 together? Or is it that you just do not care? I think it's probably that you do not care. Delicious food is better. It's worth it. He's such a sweet boy. You're such a sweetie. What would I have named Pippi? Because your name's Milk. Your name's Mr. Milktoast. It just is. But I probably would have named Pip. I I don't know. I really loved Ragnar's name. Maybe I would have named Pip after Ragnar, who was this really incredible looking like Norwegian forest cat that I just don't know what happened. Like I went to the shelter and he was really old and had been dropped off and no one was adopting him, and he was really just this nice old guy. And I was like, I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him and let him live out his days, which like it probably wouldn't have been in peace. It would have been with like Paige barking at him and Milquetoast annoying him and Molly and like, so who knows? It would have probably been awful, but I had to go on a business trip, I think for Minecraft. I think I had to go to Seattle. And so I was just like, what's the harm of him? You know, cat shelters for the most part are pretty like, it's interesting, right? Like they have these rooms, a lot of them, and the cats, people come in and play with the cats and pet them, and like some cats just live there for years. And I never know whether to feel bad or not, because in my mind I go, well, they're just in this one room with all these cats and that must be really stressful. But then at the same time I go like, well, what does an indoor cat really need? Like, do they need more? They have toys, they have perches, they have food, they have litter boxes. Like, I would argue that, I mean, I live in a pretty small house, but I would argue that Milquetoast and Pipsqueak enjoy like running around the house and going up and down the stairs and playing. But he was old and he was probably fine. And so I really was like, well, I'm not going to take him right now and then like drop him off at the house with all my other animals and then just go on my business trip. I'll come back and get him in like 3 days. And he passed away, which I always was just like, really? Like, I was so bummed. I was like, did they just accidentally adopt him to someone else and then felt like, oh no, we messed up and so we better just tell her that he died? Or did he really die? And then my head, I could go like, oh, at least he died. Like, not that this is such an anthropomorphizing thing. Milquetoast, don't step on the keyboard. But I think like he died like knowing I'm getting adopted. Like someone loves me. And like took a nap and died. Oh my gosh. The children's book writes itself. Oh, my heart. Anyway, number 4, what are your thoughts on the Minecraft movie? I appreciate that they took a big swing, it looks like, on the aesthetic of it. I hope that it does well. I don't know. I have no plans to see it just because I don't leave Molly. If I didn't leave Molly at home to go see Paddington 3, I'm not leaving Molly at home to go to the Minecraft movie. Number 5. No, I just meant I didn't get invited to the premiere of Paddington 3. I wish. I just meant at the theater. 5, how do you feel about the company that's working on making mammoths come back to life? Okay, the video's almost done. I didn't know that was an achievement. Oh, it's done. I gotta go. We've seen, you know, you don't be too preoccupied with whether or not you could to stop to think if you should, essentially, right? Like, that sounds scary. I'd love to see a mammoth, but like we can't take this stuff into our own hands, people. What a dramatic way to end this. Okay, until next time, Paige and Molly love you. Go rescue a dog.